Hello everyone, and just in time for me to actually get started, Toxicate. How are you doing today? It's been unfortunately fairly miserable weather in the UK at the moment, as I've just closed the curtains because it's all dull and dreary and raining. Cat's nicely curled up in his box on the desk, so he won't be interrupting me too much anyway. But let me just zoom in, and I would say remind myself of what's been happening, but that was only 2 days ago, so I'm pretty well aware. So we are negative on energy credits, food and consumer goods I've been selling because we hit the cap on our storage. Minerals I'm still trying to balance out. Just had to get off your CK game after a rather odd event happened. What happened? You have to tell me what happened, because either that's a huge game glitch or it's just something utterly bizarre. But let me get the game running while discussing on that, because okay, we did have some friends and allies coming around, but they seem to have gone AWOL on me. That's not good. The Warcraft universe, I'm vaguely aware of it. Basically, the only stuff I really know is World of Warcraft, the MMO. That's about it. Okay, how many fleet power do we have here? Do I know what a Murloc is? No. No, I do not. Okay, this probably don't have anywhere near enough, and we might have enough to take on one fleet. Hopefully these guys here being neutral means they're not going to be attacking us.
Skywatch has sighted incoming enemy ground forces.
Oh, it's horrid either way. You're posting in the Discord. Okay, I'll have a look at that in a moment. But yeah, that definitely sounds like it will be an interesting event. I'm just thankful that this, managing to drag the whole galaxy into a war, is about the oddest thing that's gone on for me.
The planet is lost.
Okay, well, we just lost Gronor Prime. That's to be expected.
Spaceport reports enemy contact.
Okay, is that more fleets in there or just the same ones? That's just the same ones. Is fine. Still don't know why we're losing volatile motes and rare crystals, because as far as I'm aware, we don't have any of those in those systems. So the only thing I can think of is that obviously we have them being made and refined on the planets, and because the planets are being taken over, that is then what's happening. Okay, let's send our fleets down here. Hopefully we'll have... Wait for the game, because all like these huge amounts of fleets the game is not liking. Okay, apparently the guys just completely disappeared up that way. Right, fair enough, I'll have a look. You've posted, you hate it. I'll have a very quick look. I'll have a very quick look. Okay, I can see why you would say it would be horrific. That is chaotic, yeah. Okay, yeah, I can see why you'd be saying that. God. Honestly, I genuinely cannot wait to get back into Crusader Kings 3. I honestly cannot wait to get back into Crusader Kings 3 with the new upcoming DLC, tours and tournaments. Everything that I've been reading of the dev diaries and such, it is just going to synergize so well with what I've got planned for my challenge run. So I'm actually almost glad that it's taken me this long to be able to get around to it. Yeah, I do know that if you're not playing in Iron Man mode, you can use the console and bring up a command to actually see the true parentage of a child. If you really want to, not necessarily metagame it, but genuinely check.
Spaceport lost.
I just have to look at that again. I just have to look again. Because that is... Yeah, that is definitely something else. Okay, so we've retaken the system, but not the planet. How many occupying armies do we have? 268. Okay, so we'll just set some orbital bombardment down there to get that planet back. Okay, and I do want to pause and go over to this side of the galaxy, because this is also where quite a lot of battles and such are happening outside of my control. Like, completely outside of my control. I can't even see the fleet capacity of these friendly fleets. You can see the neutral fleets, and let me just click in here and wait as my computer cries. Yeah, so I think I was calculating that there was like 500,000 fleets last stream. I think it's probably closer to 1 million fleet power here. I think it's closer to 1 million fleet power. I have somehow created the first great galactic war. And of course, I've actually been looking back at all my previous vids to try and figure out, because I know how it happened. I now know how it happened. Basically, because the Broken Shackles Empire said that if we were to go to war against MSI, they would come in and help us, then that, I think that was what caused all of this chaos. I think that's what caused all of this chaos, but unfortunately I can't quite find them quite yet. I've not been able to find them in my VODs. I've not been able to really go around and find them in the actual galaxy. So the thing is, they've got to have been around here somewhere. Sathan, I was going to say, you sound familiar, but apparently not. You're prosperous, more blah 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 blah. Here we are. The Citizen Union of Dothon 4. That's it. Yes, they are in the Federation. Okay, right. It is what I was thinking. So, because we started with the Payback origin, that guarantees a Broken Shackles empire in the galaxy. And when we got into contact with Minimar Specialist Industries, these guys said, we have no quarrel with MSI, but if you go to war with them, we will back you up. And because they're in the Federation, because there is, oh god, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 17 empires in this Federation. The Citizen Union of Dothon 4 got pulled in to the war, and I presume, just based on whatever background code is in the game, because Dothon said that they were going to help us in the war, that meant that every single person in the Federation could not say no. So hence why you see every single hyperlane you see here in yellow, I believe, are my allies in this war. I did not realise it. I did not realise it when I actually decided to declare this war, but I've pulled in the entire galaxy. Like, seriously, if I sort by war, that's not actually going to do anything. But you can see here all... So obviously the shields are the defensive army, or the ones on the defensive, and then the swords are the ones that are active, and it is... Yeah, basically if I remove all of the other and pre-FTL civilizations, we have 4 empires that are not involved at all. And the thing is, my computer is struggling. Yes, my computer is struggling. It's not even a bad computer. It's like I've got the anniversary 8086K. I've got that overclocked to 5 gig or 5 gigahertz. I have a 2080, so that's still pretty darn powerful. It's just the fact that there's like 1 million fleet power
Science Division reports
everywhere. Paradox thought, what if you simulated a world war? I mean, technically, yeah. I'm simulating the First World War here. I have no bloody clue who I am. I think I'm Belgium, honestly. I think I'm probably just Belgium if we're going that route. Oh goodness, okay. Gauss Cannon, that's a pretty cheap reroll. Because I know, obviously, or like for World War One, I know Belgium was the one that quite a few other people were like guaranteeing the independence of. So, yeah. It's basically all but the 2 fallen empires, a bunch of pre-FTLs, and 4 standard empires are not involved.
All Anvil ground elements have been completely overrun. The planet is lost.
I suppose the good news is that we're going to succeed in our war to vassalize MSI, and I've been doing my best to try and play nice with the empires in the Federation, because obviously you can't join a Federation if any of them are rivaling you. So I'm just having a look. So it's just... Yeah, it's just the... Back up here, please, computer. It's just these guys who are still rivaling me. But I've put on like 2 people to try and improve relations, and I've got a spy network going on to try and figure out why they're being rivals. Once the war is ended, we're going to be going over to our edicts here. Not edicts, we're going to be going over to our policies and changing our diplomatic stance, because I think that's having an impact on everything. So we're going to be changing that once we're at peace, and then hopefully we can wiggle our way into the Federation and I can start unifying the galaxy from within that. That's my plan. That's my plan. Okay, right, what do I want here? I guess I'll just go for fleet command limit. That's probably not too bad to just get generally. But in this corner you can just about see Hager's 4 is blockaded, so I can't really do anything about that. But we're at 10% war exhaustion, they're at 65%. And if no one's ever seen the scroll bar on the war screen, that's what it looks like. Because obviously we've got all of the people, the 17 ones in the Federation. I don't know if you are considered part of it. You are. Okay, being a vassal, you are considered part of that, but still. Basically, because we're trying to vassalize MSI, we only have the options to win or lose. We cannot settle the status quo. So we're at minus 210, minus 100 because we've got 1 unoccupied planet, minus 50 because of unoccupied systems, plus 50 for relative navy strength. war exhaustion is slowly ticking up, so hopefully over a bit more time we'll be able to manage all of that. But yeah, honestly, I was thinking that this was going to be a quick attack MSI before their friends could come in and reinforce, but no, it's ended up being a galactic war. So MM, there was one area.
Spaceport lost to enemy action.
That was, maybe I should just click on that and just see where it was. So it was Mathrop. So where is this one? That is, aha. Right, so this is technically fully occupied,
Enemy contact.
but the starbase is, I think they may have just taken that, perhaps. Planet is occupied by Kazam Commonwealth. Yeah, I have no idea what's going on there. I'm just going to stay in my corner of the galaxy and hope that they can do what's needed. Okay, so we've got some intel there because of rivalry and such. Oh. Hopefully this war is going to actually resolve itself within this stream, because honestly I spent 3 hours on the previous stream just waiting for this to get up to 60% war exhaustion. Thankfully we are actually going up quite quickly now. It's been 6% in about 20 minutes. But yeah, some of these things, between the number of fleets that we had, the amount of fleet power, and the fact that we also had a solar storm pop in as our mid-game event, that just meant zooming in on some of these sections where the war's going on, it was just absolute chaos. Actual absolute chaos. Going to say, do I want to risk zooming in here? Okay, that's only got 133, so that's not that bad. What are we doing up here? 150. And this is got quite a lot. The Black Crown. Okay, a conduit. I didn't know you could actually give them names like that. I did not know you could give them names like that. Oh yeah, the solar storm was awful, because obviously it impacts about roughly half of the systems. So it's like I had quite a few up here and it was just absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. Oh, we've actually got an army coming down to land in here. Hey, thank you. That is the Vrin provinces. Okay, you're still dealing with that machine uprising. But hey, if the machines win, maybe they'll be more friendly to me.
Spaceport lost to enemy action.
Okay, I think you guys have landed. You have indeed. Oh wow, okay, you only had 3 armies psionics, but that was all that was needed. Yeah, I think honestly, after this war in Stellaris, I think I'm going to be glad to actually take a break from it for a while. There has just been so much going on, and okay, right, now is going to be a big decision, because this is going to be our last tradition tree that we can select. So I need to be very, very cautious about which one I choose. It has been fun. Like I said, I was just expecting to try and do quick hit and run tactics against MSI and get a high enough war score for them to surrender. I was not expecting to pull the entire galaxy into it. So adaptability, I need to read these all very carefully. So prop housing usage, planetary prospecting, additional resource deposit once per planet. So district strategic resource cost and upkeep reduced by 10%, orbital bombardment damage down and defense army damage up, habitability building slots, resettlement cost. Diplomacy, diplomatic grants, diplomatic influence cost reduced by 50%, diplomatic weight, additional envoys, okay, additional envoy, Federation naval capacity, embassies give +3 unity, trust +50 and trust growth +33%, diplomatic acceptance, envoys improving relations have a 1% chance each month at acquiring a favour. This sounds like it could be good if I'm planning on going down the diplomacy route. So clear blocker, empire size from pops -10%. So governor level cap up, monthly influence, additional housing from capital buildings and housing, ruler lead level cap +2 and edicts +50, unlocks enhanced surveillance, extended shifts, pop resource output +5%. Mercantile, I don't think we need to worry about. Politics. Okay, so one envoy. Envoys assigned to the galactic community produce 0.1 influence. Well, I'm capped out on that, and I've been capped out for a while. That's probably not amazing. So plus 10% diplomatic weight. 4 special resolutions in the galactic community. So whenever a resolution that you supported passes, gain 1 favour on the empire that proposed it. Minus 25% influence cost to veto or propose resolutions. Each envoy provides an additional 2.5% diplomatic weight. Whenever a resolution you propose passes, gain 18 months worth of unity. After a resolution is passed by another empire, gain 25% diplomatic weight until one of your own resolutions pass. Veto cooldown minus 25% and emergency measures cooldown minus 25%. That could also be interesting. So prosperity, 20% plus mining station output, resources from jobs plus 5%, building and district upkeep minus 10%, specialist pop plus 5%, upkeep from jobs minus 5%, build core reduced by 10% and build speed by 25%, probably not something I need right now. City districts, 1 additional housing, or unyielding, so starbase upgrade speed, and then defense platform cap plus 50%, Starbase minus 20, Martial Alliance Federation type. So defense army health increased by 25%, orbital bombardment damage, war exhaustion gain down by 25%, hostile claim influence cost plus 25%. Defensive war, ship build speed increased by 33% and ship fire rate by 15%. Starbase and defense platforms, hull points and damage increased by 33%. Starbase capacity plus 2, upgrade cost minus 50%, against hostile operations plus 4. Okay, this is one that sounds like it would have been a lot better earlier on. So I'm kind of thinking that it's either going to be diplomacy or politics, and I'm not sure which one I should be taking. So I'll actually leave that for the moment, and if anyone has any opinions on what they think I should take based on obviously what I've already taken, feel free to chime in. And we also do have 1 ascension perk available, so even if we do something a little or different, like galactic contender would give us plus 20% diplomatic weight anyway, so we could always potentially go for that, even though the other 3 are not that good for us at the moment, because, well, the L Gate spawned nothing, and the 2 fallen / awakened empires have been pretty battered throughout all of their wars and efforts. There we go. I was thinking, like, yeah, we should have, aha, we got some friendly fleets coming through again. 83,000. Thankfully on my side of the war we are not getting the huge amounts of fleet fleets we're seeing on the other side of the galaxy. And okay, just down to 207% there. So just because the war exhaustion is ticking up, we are getting slightly reduced reluctance to it.
Spaceport lost to enemy action.
Okay, that's the one up in Jomel, which only has 2,600 people. I swear these fleets must be using jump drives to go everywhere, because I keep on seeing them and then I look away and they've disappeared and they've just left a few thousand or a couple 10,000 like here. I swear that must just be how they're doing it. Just jumping in and out of the systems. So I do see some of them approaching from the Civilian area of space, but I don't really see them coming from anywhere else. And it never seems to be enough people or enough ships coming through here. Never seems to be enough. Okay, right, that one's got that. And Biv probably want to do that one as well. Okay. Right, so we do have our construction ship here. So I do want to have a look. So build megastructure. So obviously a gateway site, a sentry array. Yeah, we can do a couple of big things now. Okay, yeah, I think I'm going to make a sentry array in this system. So we've got environmental effects, cloaking strength +3. So that will be helpful in just keeping people a little bit unaware of what's going on in that sector. And then I think Voldop will do a like grand star base, not a star base, shipyard. I think we'll do one there because that is very much the center of our empire. And then obviously we want some gateway jumps as well. So probably from Jomel to... I kept on saying I wanted it to be Sal, but maybe I should do Jomel to Takaram, because then that will link that up, and that will mean Voldorp will have options of 1, 2, and then it's in here versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on how you look at it anyway. Depending on how you look at it. Okay, just having a quick look to see what things are worth here. We're almost back to neutral on the minerals, so we might be able to reduce down the amount of those that we're buying for the time being.
Spaceport lost to enemy action.
Bav has 268. I might as well just send everyone to do an orbital bombardment there again. So we are 11% war exhaustion versus 72%. So yeah, we are definitely going to be able to win this. Hello there, Itchy Gruntles. What emote is that? Give me a moment. Okay, that is a fun emote. Welcome in. How are you doing today? Hope things are going well with you. I can't do anything about Hager's 4 for the moment because it is still under blockade. I need to try and liberate everything first. I need to try and liberate all these other ones first. And of course I could probably send you down to Hager's and see how things... A buddy of yours loves the Alien movies, so everything of his is aliens. Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, it's a nice cute little emote regardless. I just needed to see it a bit better. But yeah, I definitely get that. Honestly, if I had my way, I would seriously be branding all of my streams and everything with just my favourite items. I've been tempted to do a couple on occasion. I have done a few things on occasion, but I do want to try and keep it to at least original designs as such. Here for the Stellaris content, just started playing, it's overwhelming, no idea what you're doing. Well, yeah. As Toxicite says, I feel that I spent quite a while trying to learn all of Stellaris' systems, and it did not help. Paradox kept on obviously changing and altering things, because I'm pretty sure I bought this game in the release window, back when we still had 3 different types of FTL you could choose from at the game start. You had a completely different planet system. Planets were tile based and everything. It got to the 2.0 release where we were limited to hyperlanes, changes to the planets, and I had to watch so many videos to try and figure out what was going on and play so many hours to understand things. So I understand where you're coming from, because that was my experience as well. But as I do say, feel free to ask any questions about anything that I'm doing, and I will answer to the best of my ability. I will answer to the best of my ability. Okay, I think I'll go for you because you are 30 years old. Does it seem like the game's stabilizing, or are there still tons of updates and content being released? There's still tons of updates and content being released. Honestly, it doesn't look like they're going to be slowing down, at least, or I would say within... Well, okay. I would say within maybe the next year or two, it will be stabilized, and they'll probably look to start work on Stellaris 2. My main thing will be whether we get a Stellaris version 4.0, or if they stop at 3.9 or 3.8 and then start working on it. That's going to be where I'm going to see, basically, if they don't really go beyond version 3.8, they're going to be working on Stellaris 2. If they do go beyond and start making plans for version 4.0, it's going to be a lot longer. So, thankfully, most things at the moment, because Paradox do tend to keep the really huge changes to the major versions, so obviously going from version 1 to 2 or 2 to 3 were very big changes. The minor ones, like 3.7 to 3.8, as that one's coming up, are more reconfigurations and additions of things rather than complete reworkings of the entire system. But we did have the announcement 2 days ago, about like an hour and a half before I started streaming, about the next update and the next content pack. So that was a little bit aggravating, because Paragons of the Galaxy would have been something quite nice to play around with on this stream, but I guess that will just have to wait to be part of content in a stream later in the year / early next year, depending on how the rest of Stellaris' development goes, how all the other games that are going to be releasing come out, because May is a busy month for me. May is a seriously busy month for me at the moment.
Engaging enemy station.
Okay, so there we go. Anti-crime campaign to try and get that down with any kind of success. Did not mean to select that one. I'll send you down here to grab that station. Okay, you are going across there for that one, so we should be able to grab all this territory back soon enough. still only minus 202. Are you guys seriously having trouble over here? It looks like it.
Engaging enemy station.
I don't know why, because it's not like there's huge amounts of fleets around here. It's just a station and an enemy fleet. So I don't quite know why that's being such trouble. Hey there, Blue Cornflower. How are you doing today? Hope things are going well with you. And yeah, we got Toxicite popping in as well after a amusing incident in his Crusader Kings 3 game where he's playing a Warcraft mod. And yeah, hope things have been going well with you. I'm hopefully in the finishing stretches of the war. And thank you for the follow there, Itchy Gwendol's. I hope you enjoy the streams. But yeah, like I said, if you have any questions generally, or if you have any questions about anything specific that I'm doing, feel free to ask and I will answer to the best of my capabilities and abilities. Just be aware that sometimes it may be a response of, well, I don't know, I've just always done it this way and it works, so... Okay. Yeah, interestingly, this is more or less actually been the main front of the war. I've only been affected and impacted when they decide to try and come through and take some territory off me. But then, because the other fleets mass up here again, it means that we essentially get a few hit and run tactics going on. Okay, that one has been reclaimed. Good. A few hit and run tactics going on, and then they leave and I can clean up the mess that they've left behind. Allies come through and help me do that as well. Okay, so fortunately stability here because crime is very, very high. So what do we have? Ah, yes. Because the Saturn, because you guys have some annoying... Okay, I don't think we could go to war against there. Let me pause and start that again. I don't think we can go to war against them because they're already involved in the war that we're in and they're on our side. So it's not like we can do a double war where we have them as allies on one side and enemies on the other. Okay, there's the Gauss cannon. So we do still have those battleship and Titan hold points. I think I'll go for the battleship one because that's the level 2 one. So we've already got 10% and then hopefully we should have another 10% from that. Okay, if you're cleaning out there, I'm gonna move my ships up here and clear out these 2 sections. And surprisingly, through all of that, we've only gained 1% war exhaustion. This is thankfully going a lot better. What's my end goal? Well, it is humiliate Minimar Specialist Industries and make them pay, which is going to be the result of this war, presuming that obviously I managed to win it. But if you're looking at the war score, we're going to win this. So this is a war to turn MSI into my tributary, so basically upending the scales and making them work for me. After that, I'm not quite sure because I set the end game to be the year 3000 and we're not even halfway there yet. Okay, council denouncement. Oh yes, this is... Oh yeah. This is the one where they are denouncing me. Unfortunately, a lot of people are voting against me, so this means I will be subject to a fair few sanctions. But maybe we'll, oh, okay, someone majorly dropped out of that then. Someone chose to abstain, which means unless they come back in, I think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to be okay on that one. You. No, speaking of megastructures, so we're 38% towards that sentry array being built up. So, but yeah, going back to the end goal, basically humiliate MSI, get them to work for us. I'm going to try and see if I can wiggle into that huge federation and try and rule that from within, turn it to my uses. It's going to be the year 2700 before the endgame crisis can begin to roll. So it may be a situation where obviously I take this offline, run it through until we get the crisis spawning, and then come back and stream it from there. But again, I'll have to see. Depends what's going on, what options there are. Hey, you're complaining about no housing, but there is 19% devastation, which is obviously going to reduce the amount of housing available. Devastation 21%. Crime looks to be slowly going down, which is good. Loads of available jobs, but maybe I can put up a Psychor. Yeah, I think I'll put up a Psychor because that is better than Enforcer because it gives a stability +5 regardless, and then it also decreases the crime by 40 on its own, and then a general productivity boost on the planet. So that's gonna take a bit of time, and I'm obviously going to need to prioritize that when it does get built. So yeah, we can't prioritize it just yet. Have to wait until it's completed. Okay, that's all done.
Insurgency underway.
A planetary revolt. Yep. Okay, it doesn't look like anyone's come to try and take that system back, so I'll move you there. So what do we need to do here? So institute a crackdown. So army build speed and stronghold build speed. I'll go with distribute amenities for the moment and see. Okay, that's just gone from 3.9 to 2.4, so not amazing. And we will have to keep an eye on that. And obviously when the Psychor finishes building, we'll be able to have that as an option. And then hopefully once all of that's done, it's going to be something that we focus on after the war. So what's the general advice for building districts and buildings on planets? You've read a few things about planet specialization, but I don't understand it yet. Okay, that is generally not something that I tend to worry about. When I start off on the game and I have a few, like just a couple of planets, what I tend to look for is this planet deficit and also the resources that you have on the upper bar. Essentially, when I start off, I kind of look and go, it's like, okay, what's the deficit on a planet? What am I lacking? And try and build up districts to bump that back up and reduce the deficit. Ooh. Okay, that could be amazing. So the Dark Abyss. Oh, Admiral's just gained the Engineer trait. That could be amazing. So yeah, so I tend to focus on working on the planet deficit myself. And most of the planet specializations, I tend to just leave it as the automatic one. So obviously your Empire capital is always going to be that. The Forge world, because I built up so many industrial districts and such, that's obviously changed to that. So it does automatically do it, but sometimes I think... Yes, I think Deneb Prime, not automatically, the other word, I manually made this one into a mining world because I had 9 mining districts here, so I knew that I wanted this one to be a mining world. And then obviously the other options, let me just see if I've got... So, like here on Zedron Prime, we have a modifier which gives us poor quality minerals. So I'm not sure if we could actually build any mining districts on this planet regardless. But because of this, unless I was absolutely desperate for minerals, I would not be building a mining district on this planet because of that. Instead, we've got the Titanic Life modifier, so I would have been prioritizing putting up some research stations on this one to get that extra little bit of research. And let me just see if I've got any other planets with interesting modifiers. So here, atmospheric hallucinogen, so physics research. Once again, I'd be looking at getting a research station on there quickly, and obviously hostile fauna gives society research from jobs as well. But obviously habitability and happiness is down a little bit, so you will have to try and make sure people are happier, maybe have more amenities and such there. Yeah, planetary modifiers are a good way, I found, of checking and seeing, at least on a base level, what you can potentially do for a planet. And then obviously the other one is all of the features, because the max districts one is, again, fine, it just gives you a bonus. So if you have a world with no modifiers like this one and you've got like max mining districts, you can see that I really doubled down on them here. 7 mining districts. But then we also have these metal boneyards, which give another 4 max mining districts, but also an extra bit of society research. So consider, you know, maybe you might want to have a few more extra researchers on that planet as well. And then I think honestly, once you get to about where I am, it more tends to be about what's kind of lacking in the system. And I've been talking about that so much I completely missed the fact that we had a hostile fleet come in and do some damage to a couple of our fleets, but oh well. Oh well, it's not something I need to overly focus on for the moment. But yeah, essentially planetary modifications, any special features, and then 90 to 95% of the time the planetary designations tend to be aligned with what you're building there anyway, so I don't overly focus on those. And yeah, absolutely no problem.
Station reports enemy contact.
Absolutely no problem on that. But I will say, obviously, if there's, or if you need jobs for a planet and you can't overly see what you should build, I always go for generator districts, because if nothing else... Ooh, why did you declare war on them? Annexation. Oh.
Science division reports
interesting. Yeah, so if there's, or if you've got unemployed pops that need a job and you don't quite know what to put down, I tend to go for the generator districts, because you're always going to need energy and you can always come along, go to the generator district, click on replace and build up one of the other districts if you do necessarily need to change it for whatever reason. Okay, anything good or interesting here that I can see? Ancient shield overcharger. Oh, okay, that's a starbase building. Most of my starbases are at full capacity now. I think leader lifespan plus 5 years could be fun, especially seeing as we do have the imperial, dictatorial, where we need to choose our next ruler upon death. Okay, how many people do we have here? Oh, yeah, 125,000 more or less. Okay, Hager's planetary revolt. Crime is reducing. Crime is reducing. We can come back here. Okay, enforcers are... Oh no, not enforcers, telepaths. Crime minus 35. Crime...
Incoming enemy ground forces.
Okay, yep, Deneb's being invaded again. The people living on this side of the galactic, or on this side of the Empire, are not going too well. Okay, destroyed work facilities, so these acts will not go unpunished, or we must resolve our differences. Well, it's going to do the same thing. So I think we must resolve our differences. Anything... Don't overly think there's anything else I can do.
Planetary defenses
So
override.
stability is obviously going to be negatively impacted by that. Obviously the best way to do it would be happiness, but I'm not sure if I really know a specific way. Just a matter of balancing things out. Yep, no problem, Toxicite. Hope you have a good workout. Thank you for popping by and thanks for the lurk. If I don't see you again, hope you have a good rest of the day. Oh, yeah, this is probably just going to be... I think I may actually just institute a crackdown. See how that changes things. That is a major problem. Okay, that went up massively. I do not want that to happen. So are there any things that I can actually add that will create happiness, essentially? Obviously, priest jobs, Psychor. If I get up another precinct house, perhaps. Yeah, I think I'll do that and then put you there. We've got one merchant job. Resettle. Okay, so... Yep, put that to the side for the moment. Robots cannot be... Okay, obviously just trying to see, because obviously if I can move someone from one position over to the other, or Matok, you're registered as unemployed for the moment, that will be fine. You are a good fit, at least in terms of habitability. Let me just see if there are any other people I can grab from other planets. So we want the mid-level ones. Racket, are you... I believe you are psionic, so I'll move you across as well. Have a look. And this is the Akano Republic. Have uploaded their minds. So they are now cybernetic. So because we are spiritualist, we're saying we will not be deceived, because to us, becoming a cyborg is just an affront. There we go. The rumours you have heard are true. We have abandoned the flawed organic containers that imprisoned our minds and embraced the future. Although we may be stronger, faster, more intelligent and immune to aging, rest assured we are still the same beings as we were before. So I don't think that changes anything. Okay, so yep, we've got 2 telepaths now and 2 enforcers. That's got crime down to 18%. And hopefully between that and the devastation going down over time,
Spaceport reports enemy contact.
we will have a few more options when it comes to... Okay, so the coast is there, Dark Abyss is there, okay, recovered asset. And let me see. So Fleet Manager, 135 ships for 44,000. So I'm going to presume that this is just going to say 14,000 because that is the maximum amount that we are able to reinforce right now. Okay, hopefully, so we are at 33.1. Predicted next month is going to be 35. And out situation stage will change in 10 months and an outcome will be reached in 37. But this will be ready in 3.5 months.
Science
So that
Division
will
reports a new breakthrough.
come in place. We have that marked as a favorited job. We have one unemployed specialist. 7% chance per month to spontaneously migrate to other colonies. Hopefully they will stay here because I've essentially gone to them. He's like, yeah, move to this planet and you will have this job. So hopefully they're going to stay there. We could get a science nexus. I think I'm going to start pushing towards all of these megastructures and at least have them available as options. So we've got 75% towards that Century OA. If we can honestly create a science nexus for like Viv, or if we can't build it there, say maybe Dronel, and that will once again be a massive boon to our facilities and capabilities. So 75%. Do we still Zia? It's a different one now. It's a different system. Okay, that's this one up here. So that is... Oh, there's a big battle going on here. That is indeed a big battle going on there. So hopefully our allies will be able to take this system. Then we won't have that issue where it's saying it's like, or that obviously we don't have control of such a system. Can we actually see in here? Yes, we can. So 240 garrison. Hopefully you guys are going to come down here and stop bombarding that planet in a moment. It's already been bombarded at least partially because there's some devastation here. Okay, I just saw someone fly out. No, you are not going to take that planet. This is why... Oh no, it says fully occupied by the Numerian mandate. Okay, that would be why they're not taking it then. There we go, minus 35. Minus 35, we are almost there. So we're going to get 24 from war exhaustion, so that's going to leave us at minus 11. But hopefully when it actually does get to 100% war exhaustion, then it's going to be fully... Then it is indeed going to be fully positive. Is that necessarily the right terms? But either way, it's going to flip from being a negative number to a majorly positive number, and we're going to have Minimar Specialist Industries as a vassal. What's going to happen to the Cybern Administration, Silicon Corps, and Administration of Kaz Salosh is interesting because they've never actually vassalized someone who has vassals of their own. And then we've also given the Holy Zukan Confederacy a bit of a bloody nose, but they are still overwhelming in fleet power compared to us. Don't have anything on their spy network because I've just been focusing on pretty much everyone else at the moment, trying to get all the people in the Federation friendly. You are still rivaling us, but we are at neutral relations now. So I could potentially give you a few things. So let me have a look. So a 30-year deal, volatile motes, exotic gases, and rare crystals. And you know what? I'm going to throw in 1 dark matter a month for 30 years. And hopefully that's going to bump up their opinion of us. Oh, good. Planetary revolt is gone down to minus 0.1. We have 0% crime, 34% happiness, 18% stability. Okay. Right, so we're able to put that there. There we go. They've accepted. And then maybe you will stop being our rivals at some point. Plus 99 is still neutral. But let me just have a look. I was going to say, no, I'm not rivaling you. Okay, so apparently they consider us genocidal, and that's going up +1 a year. Favourable trade deal will go down by 2. Empire claims, rival. Yeah, opposing empires claims closed borders, hive mind. And they're obviously doing a harm relation at minus 0.5 per month. But thankfully we are cancelling that out with our own plus 0.5 a month. Common cause against slavery and the practice of interfering with pre-FTLs. Oh, 5 favours. Okay, so if we select this, we're going to have 5 favours on each empire. I think, yes, I'm going to do that. I think that is going to be useful for us. So let me just have a look at this. So council denouncement. Look at that. It's only the Akano Republic who are actually voting for that. The Satharillian Bliss, who are the ones that actually put this forward, have decided to abstain from the vote. So let me actually just have a look. So now that I actually recognise their name, unfortunately I haven't... Oh yeah, I could call them in. I could use a favour to call them in to vote with me on this. Repeal minor military sanctions. I will support that. Just in case. I will do that just in case, because if we were to be denounced, that would make a major impact in our fleet capacity and whatnot. So I do really need to have a look at what traditions we are potentially going to take for our last one. Okay, that's not quite ours yet. Okay, planetary revolt is now low stability but garrison strength, so that's basically on hold at the moment. So what I can do is I can upgrade the precinct houses, because that's going to get, hopefully, yeah, more stability. Tiny bit more stability as we go. Of course, relic activation. I don't really care about the debris. We are so far into the game that it's not going to do much for us, but what is going to be an impact is that 85,000 fleet power. Oh. That's tearing through us. Okay, who is this? Syrilan. Okay, apparently they're declaring me my rival, even though I thought we had some pretty good relations with them. Apparently not. Well, zoom out. Minus 34. Okay, yep, still we have control of systems. And we do have other fleets coming through to help us out. It's going to be good. Okay, we are
Station
positive
reports enemy
on
contact.
all of that, so we can actually reduce this down. So we'll say we'll buy 80 minerals, though the price is absolutely rock bottom. So, you know, well, we've dropped it by 170, so we should still be making 100 a month, even with buying all of that. How much are these going for? Not really that much, and the same with the food. Alloys are going for a good chunk of money.
Spaceport lost to enemy
Stable, stable,
action.
stable, and stable. Which is, yep, really much all the lines. If we wanted more energy credits, we could sell all, say, satellite array. There we go. So we need further development before it can be brought online. But anyway, let's sell 59 alloys a month, because that will get us a huge amount of money at the moment. Thing is, they're selling for over 12 each. And there is our megastructure, so we can upgrade a state-of-the-art listening post crewed by a permanent staff of astronomers and tactical analysts. So monthly upkeep minus 40 energy. That's going to take 5 years, but then we can move you over to here and then see if I can, let's say, see if I can figure it out. Okay, gateway site cannot build within the gravity well of a system. So where do I build it then? I've not actually done megastructures that much, to be honest. So obviously a mega shipyard must be around a star. Can only build or upgrade one megastructure at a time, which is understandable. Yeah, cannot build within the gravity well of a system. I'm really not sure what that means, so I'll just cancel that order, and I might go and have a look on that one just to see how we can actually do it. So Stellaris Gateway megastructure. Okay, so the only ones you can build for free are gateways. No, I don't want to reactivate. Ah, okay.
Station reports enemy contact.
Okay, so maybe we need to activate one. I'm not 100% sure, because it's not being completely clear on that one. Okay, well, this person's got the opposite problem. Oh, hang on, hang on. Planetary resolve. Okay, the slaves on Hagus 4 have had enough to eat. A large number will be refusing all intake of food till we abolish slavery planet-wide. Oh dear. Gosh. Okay, I'm just gonna say let them starve, because aside from the robots, there's only one species that we have as slavery, and that's the MSI species. Just simply because they are ones that, yeah,
Ground elements have been completely overrun. The
we're
planet is lost.
not really friendly with them in any kind of capability. Okay, that's not really telling me anything either, so okay, I'm just going to leave that for the time being. Let's see, who died? Admiral. Will I just get you to come down here? And then... Yep, same for you. Ah, the Dark Abyss one also died. Unfortunate. I'll put you back there. Engineer. Daily hull regen and daily armor regen. Yes, please. Oh, okay, that was not what I wanted to click on. Don't quite know why that happened. Research complete. Battleship hull points. Okay, robot modification points. Again, a cheap one. I'll just take that because having it will be nice and it'll complete in 2 years. Oh, hang on a minute. Do I just need to get you to like move here and then build and then like click this rather than trying to click on the star or a system or whatnot? So you should be moving over there as well. Okay, migration treaty breaking. That is fine. Planetary revolt on Hagus 4 is going down by 1 a month. That is nice to see. You are still rivaling us. Hey, unfortunately, there's not really... any way that I can think of other than just keep on chucking people to improve relations. There we go. So we are now outweighing your harm relations. If I send one more person in, perhaps. Okay, that is now 1 a month. Okay, so it looks like it's, at least for this empire, 0.25 per envoy. Feels honestly a little bit ridiculous that we've got 4 envoys improving relations and then we've also got someone spying. So let's honestly just launch a gather information one just to get more knowledge. Council denouncement vote has failed, thank goodness, because we were the target of that and that would not have been pretty. Hello there, Nobilinen. How are you doing? I saw you streaming yesterday. How were things going? Nobilinen. Let me just actually make sure I can spell that correctly. So you were playing Ultra Kill. How did that go? Doing good. And there we go. Another, well, the more standard Twitch shout out. Crazy but awesome. You crashed. Aww. Oh, that's a shame. But hopefully you enjoyed it as it was going on. Been streaming anything or any other interesting fun games? It was an intended crash. Aha, sure. Sure it was. But yeah, Ultra Kill, been playing anything else of interest? How have your streams been going generally? Thank you for the raid. Very, very much appreciated and welcome in everyone. If you don't know me, I'm Positronics or PT, and I do basically strategy, simulation and indie games. At the moment, as you can see, we are doing Stellaris. Paradox games are a favourite on this channel. And next month I've got plans for Crusader Kings 3, Tours and Tournaments DLC, and then also going into Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So you've been mostly doing Ultra Kill, been going great, game is wild, and you accidentally intentionally crashed it. Okay. Accidentally intentionally crashed it. Of course. There we go. There's the gateway site. So we need to figure out, I think I'm actually going to put it right next to the hyper relay. because if we have the hyper relay and the gateway right next to each other, then hopefully, because obviously people are going to be going in and out of the hyper relay, having the gateway right next to it means that people are going to be able to just zip, zip, zip. At least that is the plan. At least that is the plan. We all believe in jacketism. I will pretend I know what that is. I will also assume that that is something to do with Ultra Kill. Jackito crashed the game. Okay. Makes more sense now, thank you. Okay, actually, while that's building, I might as well get a second construction ship up, and then we can hopefully build another gateway here, at least. If not in tandem with this, at least afterwards, and we don't have to move our construction ship all the way back here, which is the reason why I'm doing the gateway networks. Jackito did Jackito things. Okay. Oh, thank you for the follow. Enjoy the streams. So, and also if you don't really know Stellaris, feel free to ask a few questions and I will answer to the best of my knowledge. If you get too technical, I may honestly just be honest to say I have no idea. Ooh. Okay, I'm not sure I've ever had this one before, and thank you for the follow as well, Tijin. Is that okay for me to call you Tijin, or do you have other preferred name? So, Jackito, the alter ego of the lead developer, imprisoned in the game and releasing him crashes it. Aha, okay. What is the intended processor for Stellaris? Do you mean like a computer processor, or let me actually just get the store page up. You pronounce it like Tyne. Okay, thank you. Yeah, computer processor. I'm just getting the store page up. So recommended is an Intel iCore i5 3570K AMD Ryzen 5 2400G. So this was released in 2016, so...
Hello?
Okay, that one did come through on my end. I've had a few issues with sound effects on things. The Dutch sound... Oh, I'm Dutch and the IG sound doesn't really seem to translate, so Tyne is the closest I get. Okay, I will do my best to remember that. So yeah, this was released in 2016, so obviously... decent processors back then would be fairly low level now. Okay, so apparently they've accepted the options to smooth over the situation. If they think that we're lying, they're not actually showing it. Have I ever played with mods? I'm playing with a couple right now, but that's probably not what you're meaning. I am, obviously, I've got a small outliner mod, and I've also got one for technologies, which shows me on some of the systems what level it is. But if you're asking about like mods that add events to the game, overhauls, like changing this into Mass Effect, no, I've not played with those. I've not played with mods like that. Honestly, I just find that there's enough to do in the game as it is with the DLCs that I have yet to really feel the need to play and download with some mods, which is odd because some other games I just mod to absurd limits. It's just interesting to me which ones do get modded and which ones I'm fine playing mostly vanilla. You could have bought our hang on a minute, let me oh gosh, where is that one? There we go. Has that one come through yet? Okay, I didn't hear that one, unfortunately. Some QOL is always nice. You've gotten somewhat bored after having everything for a while. New DLC comes out, it's good for a bit, but you always go back to mods. Fair enough. Fair enough on that aspect. I honestly, for me, especially because of streams, I tend to rotate between quite a few games. So honestly, Stellaris and Crusader Kings 3 pull me back in with the new content. So you can tell when new content is released because, generally speaking, I have a Stellaris or Crusader Kings 3 stream when that happens. Okay, are we actually back and good in relative terms? With the enemy fleets, it looks like it. So what kind of mods is your friend making? And what do people use to make Stellaris mods? You'll have to direct that to Tyne, because that is not something that I'm aware of. I really don't know what you would use to make the mods. All I know is that it's a one-click thing to install them. All I know is it's just a one-click thing to install them. Okay, that gateway is 20%. 1,250 days remaining on that one. And unfortunately, Deneb Prime is still blockaded, but we will go through and work on that in a moment. Yes, we're getting... There we go, we're getting some allies coming back through and working on that. And yeah, probably Google it and find it easily. How to make mods for Stellaris. Yeah, Paradox is very, very open to modding games. But yeah, you'll be able to find it easily. Give me a moment while I just stretch. And there we go. I'm just thankful that we seem to be going through and getting the war exhaustion up a little bit faster than we were last stream, because it seemed to take absolutely forever to get up to 60%. Seems to be mainly made up of JSON-style text file configs. Yeah, sounds fair enough on that one. Honestly, about the most I've touched is trying to mash together a couple of mods in RimWorld, and that was XML files. I managed to get something working, and then game update kind of broke it, and I just never bothered, especially seeing as, looking back, actually someone else made a similar mod, so yeah, you know, whatever, they did it themselves. It wasn't an essential one for me, so... Oh, okay, that's a lot of ships bombarding that planet. Do I bother adding my own? I don't think that would be worthwhile, so I'll just move up here.
Station reports enemy contact.
Okay, pirates in the Takaram system is all the way up there. Great. Okay, Dark Abyss, you're heading up there to deal with them. I would normally have a fleet patrolling, but because of the war I can't really afford to split off a few people and have them running around just suppressing things for pirates. Though that is really annoying because you've probably just cancelled the gateway travel there. They've probably just cancelled the gateway construction by doing that. Ugh. How bad is... not too bad actually, although we do have quite a few places that are not connected up to... All you guys should be connected up. I don't know why you're not. Seriously. It's like there should be no issue with all of you guys. There we go. Well, that might explain why everything seems to be as calm as it is. That might explain why there's not as much piracy around, because only half of the trade stations were actually... Apparently you're not connected up either. Oh, that would make some sense. That would explain at least a couple of things. Yes, I know, because we don't really have a station there. So they're going to easily take it over, I'm aware. So stability here is only 40%. So, yeah, so decisions. We not the anti-crime one. I'm gonna do a declare martial war for that one. And I'm just gonna have a look at some of the other options. Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. Chat went quiet. Yeah, that happens. Honestly, it happens sometimes. I don't really worry about it. I just keep talking about what's going on in the stream, keep talking about what I'm doing, and just carry on as normal. I wouldn't worry about it. Okay, Kosk should be back. Able to be connected back into the system. That is an interesting path to take. That is interesting. That is an interesting path for that to take. Okay, nope, that's still gonna send it all across the galaxy. Okay, we'll wait. We'll wait to reconnect that one. Stellaris is a vibe. Nice, but it lulls me to silent. Yeah, I get that on occasion as well. Have a few people who tune in. Just have the stream on in the background and just chill to it, which, again, absolutely fine. Ooh, defense platform hull points. Fortified core layers. Yes, please. Okay, Admiral. Okay, that looks like just one who was living on Bav, not actually doing a job. And yeah, exactly, just lurking, no problem with that. We do have an exclamation point lurk and exclamation point unlurk if you'd like to use them, but it's not necessary. It's just a nice indicator if you are explicitly lurking or unlurking. But yep, just like that. There you go. So you can use those to your heart's content if you so wish. Honestly, part of that is just a explicit thing. Is like, hey, I'm still here, but I'm lurking. There's very much just a little notification there, but thank you both for those lurks, and I hope you enjoy settling in and listening to the rest of the stream. Okay, Senate is in session. Repeal minor military sanctions. That is going to pass out easily, which should be good if we ever get denounced by the council. Which almost happened. Excuse me, just had to sneeze there. And are we still having the planet bombarded here? We are. Okay. 268. Okay, nope, looks like they've just moved away. That is slightly annoying. Why is the council obsessed with sanctions instead of actual laws? I know. I know. I don't know what the AI is doing with all of these planets either, because they're coming in and liberating the star platform, but they're not doing anything with the planets. Oh, thank you for the follow. Enjoy the streams. I'm just going to go through these and have a look. Comfort the Fallen. Diplomatic weight from tech. I'm honestly just going to vote down anything that... Oh, regulated growth. I can never remember which one that is. Frankly, you look like a good vibe. Thank you. And I love that little emote there as well. Very, very cute. So which one was this then? So the regulated growth. No, that wasn't the right one. I was looking at it now, I've just been completely distracted. Independent tribunals. Leverage. Okay, we can actually see it here. Right, that's why. So purging and the use of world crackers is banned. Okay, diplomatic weight from fleet power minus 60%. Okay, yes, we do want to support that one then. We do indeed want to support that one. How is Hager's doing? 24% stability. Not quite there yet. Still not quite there. Do I honestly want to replace the cycle with the military stronghold? I think I probably do. So we can get a little bit more stability and not have the constant warning here. And not have that constant warning. Okay, 80% more exhaustion. We're starting to slow down a little bit. So we're still at minus 29, so we're still holding all of the systems. It's just obviously we need to go to 100% for them to actually say, okay, yep, we're fully beaten, we surrender. Don't quite know why these... Right, that might explain why that system's not been surveyed. My theory is if Noble is a nice person and with you being his mentor... I'm going to assume that you do be a good noodle. Thank you. Yeah, I did stumble on Noba streaming, and I have tried to support him here and there with various things, because I know it can be difficult starting a stream and obviously getting people following you and interested in you. So yeah, I do try and talk to new streamers and support them in little ways. So thank you for that. I do try to be a good noodle. I do try to be a good noodle.
Research station lost to enemy action.
Okay, research station. Are you... Not quite sure what you're talking about there, but I'll go back here, build that. Probably talking about these. I don't know why that just suddenly flipped over to saying we didn't actually have control of it. But I'll build the mining stations here, and then hopefully we'll be able to come back and do that gateway building. Speaking of, I get you to come across here, and we'll be able to do it here as well, once again right next to the hyper relay, so that people who are using the hyper relay network will just be able to just ping from one to the other without having to cross the system. Make it at least a little bit quicker. Okay, right. That was not a good thing to zoom in on. That was not a good thing to zoom on or zoom in on. So what's that? 200, 350, 500, 750, 900. That's over 1 million. That is over 1 million fleet power there. I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to zoom out because my computer does not like that. Though I'm actually surprised because the frame rate tanks, but my computer processor does not really ramp up that much when I zoom in on that. Honestly, I think it's more than 1 million. It has just got so many fleets there. It is ridiculous. I mean, this is the state of the galaxy. And honestly, there's like 4 empires that are not involved in this war. That is just how chaotic it is at the moment. That is just how chaotic it is. Let me just have a look at this. So 66% on that one. Stellaris doesn't have multiprocessing natively. It's a hack of the engine. Interesting. That's an interesting little note. Okay, so yep, we've got a stronghold there and it's now up to 53% stability. Usage in high-core CPUs is always going to be low. Fair enough. Oh, nope, I didn't want to reset all. I just wanted to do the decisions. So, end martial law. Just wait and, yep, that's reduced stability by 20%, but enforcer, crime reduction. We could probably end the anti-crime campaign as well. Because even if that increases the crime percentage, it shouldn't impact the stability, at least not too much. Even Hearts of Iron 4 suffers from these problems. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, this game was done in 2016, so it's always kind of... always a little bit of a balancing act when you've got games that are approaching 7 years old. CK3 kind of fixed it. We don't talk about Vic3 because it doesn't exist. I mean, Vic3 has been getting some attention. I mean, it's getting a new DLC next month along with like 4 other Paradox games. Okay, we could go for a quantum catapult. Or do I want to go for something else? I think actually I'll go for the encryption +2. It doesn't exist, I tell you. Just a reminder, I still have a laptop older than Stellaris and it still somehow works. Well, if it still works, then it still works. I think I've got a laptop that's a bit older than Stellaris as well, because my mind's telling me that I bought it in 2015, and honestly, if I didn't need, or if I didn't feel the need to have bought a newer one that has a or that you can draw on, it would still be absolutely fine. It would still be absolutely fine. I was about to say, it's like, I know it works absolutely fine because I took it on holiday and then I paused and realised that said holiday was 3.5 years ago. Oops. Time tends to go by fairly quickly. Okay, I don't think that our is working, so I'll just reject and refund that one. I don't quite know why it isn't working. It should be exactly the same. They sound alert, yeah. Sound alert, oh well. Yeah, those should all be from the same ones, but I don't know why they're not working. I'll have to have a look and fiddle with that after the stream. Because I got some of them working, but then others were not. Annoyingly. Let me actually just see. So, ooh woo. Yeah, big brain, hype train. Those have all worked. Ooh woo. no, that one's not working either. Or at least it's not coming through for me. Weird. I'll table that and have a look after the stream. Or, well, before the next one, I should say. Okay, so someone's become more xenophobic. Doesn't overly impact us that much for the moment. And everything else looks to be fine. We are stuck at 80% war exhaustion, unfortunately. This is more or less what happened last stream, where it was like the early war score, the early war exhaustion, we got there pretty quickly, and then it just seemed to absolutely drag on from that. We are at the fastest speed. We are still at -29. There's not really anything I can do, so I think honestly I'm just going to settle, build our megastructures, and then probably just wait for the rest of the war score. So gateway site. Yep, we indeed want it right there. And then similarly, when you're done building that mining station, we'll move you back. And I think I'm just trying to see if there's any other areas I might want to put a gateway in. I think Deneb is probably going to be a beneficial one, and then probably also Bennett Nash, because those are kind of the whatever you would call it, the like choke points, endpoints of the galaxy. Obviously we do have one here on Anachonus, but that one is more or less just out of the way. It's got a pre-FTL Iron Age civilization, and honestly half the time I keep on forgetting it's there. Oh, posture check. Yeah. Okay, let me just accept that and I'll get I'll stop shrimping. Oh. And hopefully not knock my microphone while I'm doing so. There we go. Okay, good posture. I'm not shrimping anymore. I am not shrimping anymore. Yep, no problem, Mercury. Hope you have a good rest of the day. Thank you for stopping by, and thank you for the follow as well. Hopefully I'll see you around soon-ish. If not in my streams, then in Noba's. Okay, that is better. Thankfully they're actually connecting up. They're actually properly connecting up on the trade routes now. Good. There we go. So we can see that there are a couple of weak points, but I will manage that after the war, as I've been saying, because there's no point really working with them now. There we go. And I'll send you up here and wait a moment, and then we'll get the gateway station built here next to the hyper relay. And there we go. And that should be nice and straightforward, and that will give us a link between these two systems now and stop us having to go all the way around to cut through, or give us a cut through essentially between those systems. And I have to say, I have actually been really liking the layout of this galaxy. I think this is probably what I'm going to be using as my main one going forwards, because depending on where you spawn, like for instance if you manage to spawn on this stretch of the galaxy, you've actually got quite a lot of space that you can have to yourself. But if you spawn like in here towards more of the center, you've still got all the various potential paths and points to go through, so you've still got a fair few things to think about. It's just more like a little bit more varied. There we go. Our sensor range, our sentry hub is online. Our sensor range has been increased. So I think because of the war we've got visuals everywhere, but this will help us. So what do we need? 10,000 alloys. Oh, base intel level plus 10. And then obviously that will give us another plus 10.
Reports a new breakthrough.
But I really want to actually reinforce a couple of our fleets, especially this one. So I'll get that moved to heal up. I'll get this. So we've got the ancient ramparts. Ah yes, I've seen that one before. Strategic Coordination Center. So definitive megalith of national security and military planning. Starbase capacity plus 1. I think I might finally actually go for the selected lineages. 11 months, and it's an edict which we can turn on and turn off at will, which is going to be useful. Probably want to minimize a few of these things, I've just realized. Sentry hub, yes, because we can, that's highlighted because we can upgrade it. Going to minimize the observation port. I have no idea where this okay, so you're in orbit around Tritonis. Fair enough. So you are 26% done there, and you are 11% done there. And we've gained 1% in war exhaustion. Okay, that's one of our governors dying. So we do have you age 90, but you are corrupt, and I think I will just fire you straight out. So we don't want a blocker. I think honestly we'll just go for an adaptable one. There's leader experience gain plus 25%. Always a chance to get an extra ability when they level up. Though apparently I'm going to have to start rethinking about all of those strategies when the next DLC comes out, because apparently they are majorly changing everything up. Loads of new options for leaders, loads of new trades, which honestly, thinking about it, we've probably needed that for quite a while. I've seen the same traits popping in kind of over and over again. Not necessarily a bad thing, but we have, apparently we've also reached our maximum on energy credit. Okay, so if I remove that, then apparently the the price of alloys has completely bottomed out, and that probably means that I can remove all of these as well. And honestly, if I take that down by 100 just to see, does that, yep, that does still keep us in the negative, at least for the moment. And if I add 200 minerals to buy, how much does that put us in terms of energy? Because I want it to be a little bit of a reduction, but I don't want it to be too much. Let's actually do 380 and see where that puts us. Because ideally, if we have it at like -5 energy credits a month, that's not even close. Okay. Okay, I'm going to say buy 800 a month then and see how that goes. So obviously we're going to have the same 85,000 limit. Or maybe I actually should be buying alloys instead. Yeah, let's actually change that one and let's buy... Okay, probably not that many. Let's go for 200 alloys because they are... Oh no, nope, they've suddenly rocketed in price again. Oh well, I'll leave that for a while and we'll just see how everything goes. Because that's probably going to have some major fluctuations in obviously the amount of energy credits we're spending each month. But I think probably so long as we stay above like 60k, we'll be fine. Okay, we're losing 3,000 a month. Maybe a little bit excessive then. Oh, wrong button. So instead I'll just do 100. That should hopefully be more like 1,500 that we are losing a month, which is more manageable. Which is going to be more manageable. That does also mean I had some, yes, alloy mega forges that I could probably start upgrading now. Yes, and I also wanted to add on a couple of systems for there. That's a monument that needs to be repaired. I'm going to upgrade the science building and, yep, upgrade the temple there. I am going to enable this and upgrade. Enable. Nothing there. We do have the luxury residences that we could upgrade. A bit more housing. I think that's probably going to be needed. So I'll do that. Zedron Prime. Yep. Enable and upgrade. Weak. Nothing there. Deneb Prime. Yep. Enable and upgrade. And once all that's done, I'll see how many alloys we're getting a month. See how many minerals we're getting a month. And see if I need to rebalance things, because if minerals are honestly going to stay that cheap and we have so many processors making alloys, then it'll probably be easier to actually just, and cheaper just to buy up all of the minerals and process them into alloys than it would be to buy both the minerals and the alloys at the same time. I thought I saw something. Apparently not.
Science division report success.
Okay, so that's still ongoing. There's the selected lineages again. Ancient Saturator Artillery. Size X. Okay, 150 shield damage. Could get monthly unity. Leader enhancement capacity boosters. Through exacting curation of DNA banks to rebuild the leaders of tomorrow. Okay, so that's an upgrade obviously of the one that we just had. So these are going to take 16, 19, 38, 87. That's only 19 and that's only 32. So yeah, that is an edict once again. And then we've got this ancient Saturator Artillery, which I think we're going to go for. So far all you're doing is taking notes and eating pizza. Sounds like a good time to me. So I did neglect to mention this earlier, but I do have all of the currently available DLCs for Stellaris. So depending on what DLCs you yourself have, there may also be a few differences.
Science division report success.
Okay, well, negative time keys. Let's just get that one up. And honestly, do I want here? Because there's nothing overly cheap. Even that will take 59 months. That will be 74 months. Yeah, actually, let's do the energy credits from jobs once again. And we can get that up. So we've got one unemployed person here. I should... No, not able to... because they're a robot, so we need a transit hub on this one. So where is... Here we go. Okay, so that would be why that one is like that. Okay, 45% and 60% on that one. And I'm just gonna let that run through. So we have intel from Double Agent. Fair enough, one of our founder species is on the market. Fine. How much is food selling for? Not that much. Might as well just increase that for a little bit more then. And yeah, the sorry was more for the I'm explaining something and you just note down, he's like, yeah, by the way, an advert's going on. It was more a sorry for that. And yeah, it's always a balance between pre-rolls and mid-rolls. And when I'm doing a more story-heavy game, I do try and align the ad breaks with things like when I'm just doing a battle and it's not anything too major going on. Something like a strategy game is a bit more difficult because obviously there's kind of things always going on, but they're not always necessary for like complete understanding of the stream. But yeah, what I was saying was that so far all you're doing is taking notes and eating pizza. Like I said, sounds like a good time to me. And I was also adding that I do have all currently available DLCs for Stellaris. So some of the things that you are seeing may not be applicable to your game depending on how many of the DLCs you yourself have. But honestly, 90% of what I'm doing should be applicable and you can analyze and apply it to your own game. It's just more some things like some of the Archaeo Studies Ancient Technologies came through with the First Contact DLC pack. So just clarifying on that aspect. Okay, yeah, I think this war's stalled a little bit because we're still at 81% war exhaustion. So I'm going to get another construction ship up there. And I'm going to get, where is the nearest star shipyard? I'm going to get another construction ship up here. Do be a good time, not going to lie. You only have Utopia and the base game. Honestly, Utopia is probably one of the best DLCs to have. If you are obviously on a... Oh, come on. Thankfully, I don't think you're in the... No, you're not in the Federation, so that's good. But yeah, Utopia is one of the best DLCs to have if you have limited funds or want to slowly ease yourself in, because it does add quite a few fun things. So we're speaking about rivals, and let me just have a look to see. Yeah, okay, so you are still rivaling me, and I'm still not sure how to stop that. I'm still not sure how to stop that. Okay, so it's decreasing. Last month it changed by -2. So their opinion of us is +79 and our opinion of them is +1. Obviously there is some border friction, closed borders. So they've obviously closed borders to us because they're our rival. Let me just see exactly where you guys are. Okay, I don't know why you would necessarily be saying we've got border friction, but oh well. Pack deal during a sale, base game plus Utopia plus some species packs or stories. I mean, fair enough. Fair enough. I will still say Utopia is a good DLC to have. And okay, still at 81%. So yeah, this is just going to be. Come over here, build a mega structure. Get a few things down, wait for the war to tick by. Oh, resilient, plus 25 years lifespan. That's going to be good. And if we get our mega structure up here, so we want, yep, another gateway just by the hyper relay. And over here. Okay, it may be a bit risky, but I'm going to put another hyper relay here. I'm not sure if it means that if anyone invades from this section, can jump into that gateway and travel across. So I'm honestly just going to have to risk it. I mean, I'm building one in Deneb anyway, so anyone coming from this direction through Kosk will be able to get to the gateway system that way as well. So I'll just leave it as it is. So gateway, megastructure. And there we go. So we've now got 4 construction ships, each building a gateway. This one almost done, 91%. So then we will have some quick access points across our empire, which will be good. And of course, because of where we are in the game, we're getting notifications about everyone building up their own megastructures. So what's the problem here? Not quite enough housing. That may just be from the devastation, so I will have to just wait for that to trickle down. And we've still got 1 unemployed pop here. So where could I potentially put you? So obviously a robot would be just a standard job. Honestly, I could probably just move you to Zedran Prime. So does that work? I think it has. Yes, it has. Good. Good. So that's going to solve that problem there, at least for the moment. Brunner Prime is lacking a little bit in housing as well. So if we see a research option that gives us extra housing, that's probably going to be worthwhile. Although we do also have potentially 1 to get here. Okay, another one getting the resilient trait. Oh, well, I'm not going to complain for that one. I am definitely not going to complain for that one. Oh, no, I didn't want to select that one. I wanted to go up here. There we go. The deep space construction site for the planned gateway in the Jomel system is now in place. Once we have the necessary resources, construction of the actual gateway may commence at any time. So I'm just going to go down here and have a look if any of these give us additional housing as an option. Galactic Contender, 1 Vision. It's like Mastery of Nature could give us something. Obviously there's going to be a little bit of debate on that because we shouldn't have any other blockers anywhere. Megastructure build speed plus 50% as well. I'm honestly not sure. So diplomacy or politics. Thing is, we don't really need this one if we're wanting to join an existing federation. Embassies. Politics. I mean, or prosperity. Adaptability, I don't think so. I'm really not sure. Oh, screw it. I think I'm just going to go for prosperity. So because I spent so long debating on that one, we've now got a couple of options. So district upkeep and building upkeep. Yes, and we've got 59 months until the next one. So we've got, when we complete that, we're going to unlock another ascension perk, and then because we've got 7 trees completed, then that's going to unlock the 8th ascension perk for us. So devolving beam, planet killer component. Oh, right. Maybe not. Strikecraft damage. I'll choose that one instead. I'm gonna say, what's happening here? Why was that one blipping at me? Not 100% sure. Oh, increased information gained from double agents. Okay, so Jornell, you said that this was gateway site is ready. 6,000 energy credits, 2,500 alloys, and 5 years. And I will say yes to that. There we go. And the Takram system also now in place. So let's get that one also working. And I'll just tell you to go back to the nearest starbase as you. We don't need you anymore, at least not for the moment. Council election is imminent. Same ones, Michelle Trading Consortium and Satharalian Bliss. Because we have a ridiculously low diplomatic power, so we can't overly do anything about it. We've still not really done anything about this unexplored wormhole. We need a science ship. Don't think we've got too many of those around. And yep, okay, I can. No, we didn't want all of you to go. We don't need all of you to go. Yeah, we'll just do one person. That probably explains where half of my science ships have gone. Okay, so if I tell you to go and assist research on a planet there, then when we get the other one moving, we go, so we can deselect you two, and then we can tell you to go and assist research on one of those planets as well. Okay, so we are losing 710 energy a month. How much are these alloys being sold for? I'm gonna say if it's pretty bad, we'll might as well stop buying those, but actually not that bad. So no, I'm thinking of it the wrong way. Remove that. Like completely remove that actually. See how our balances are. Obviously we can still sell more food even though that is at rock bottom prices. Okay, do that. Because obviously we just want it to be a little bit below. Although actually at the moment we could probably just remove that again. Remove that. And I just want to see what our balance is if we stop buying everything. And see what we're positive on, what we're negative on. Okay, 475 energy. Minus 161 minerals. Okay, so buy 200. And that is a little bit over 100 energy a month, which is absolutely fine and acceptable, and we can do that one. Okay, and we've explored that wormhole. Elospone system. Okay, so that is all the way over here. Protectorate under Mishan Trading Consortium. Okay, fair enough. And then that's the gateway that leads into our system. But annoyingly, we can't actually... It seems to only be a one-way gateway for some reason. Okay, and I'm just going to send you back down here to assist research on that planet. Okay, so one of the fallen empires has declared war on someone. And how are we doing on this? Minus 22%. This may be one where I just need to leave it running for a little bit just to get that war exhaustion up to 100%. Because we are slightly stalling again. And if we're still doing decently on that, I think I'm going to increase the amount of minerals we're buying as well. yeah, say 210 food and 65 consumer goods, just so we get a bit more money through, and bump that up to 400. I think honestly we are just going to be buying the minerals from the market just because it's going to be easier for us and a lot cheaper to buy it, refine it into alloys, and then use the alloys for all of our systems. Which, of course, speaking of... Okay, so 46,591, so we still need 20,000. We still need 20,000 to upgrade all of that. Well, okay, I guess it's time to potentially look at buying a few each month. So what is that? We'll need 36 to get an even 500, which is doable. Hopefully it's not going to impact us too much in terms of cost. But you know it probably is, because the price of the alloy minerals has increased. Word has reached us from our contacts at the galactic community. Legislation is in the works that would ban the enslavement of all organic populations. For us, there can be no compromise. Slavery is a stain upon the galaxy. We must do what we can to end it permanently. Okay. Right, so we need to throw our weight behind that then. The Numerian mandate. Okay, so not you guys, but we need... Yep, I need to call in a favour. From the Citizen Union of Dothon 4. So it's currently 129,000 versus 186,000, give or take a few hundred. So if I was to do every single one, that's an extra 12,000. I don't think that would really be enough, no, but I'm still going to call them in, and I'm still going to try and get it pulled through. So we do actually have 22,000 diplomatic weight from all of that, which is definitely an interesting one. So somehow I don't think that's going to work. We've used up all of our favours, which is not necessarily a bad thing, because I don't think there was really anything we could do with them otherwise. Okay, decisions, upgrade habitat. So yep, 50 influence, 1,500 alloys. Absolutely fine, and I will do the same. I keep on clicking resettle when I mean decisions. There we go. So we'll be able to get another industrial district and another trade district for each of those. And then we will have loads of space to create additional buildings. Oh yeah, everyone's just either decided to abstain or... No, yeah. The against vote tally is still pretty much the same. It's just a load of people have decided to abstain, which is genuinely, I don't actually I don't actually care that much about it, because it's just what it is. I mean, the slave market, honestly, it's a really good way to actually get additional props for different planets that you potentially have in your system fairly early on, but we have got so many populations from so many different species that it's a little bit unwieldy at the moment. Okay, and once again I think I'll just keep on going down for the armor and shields, just as we do. And how is this gateway site coming along? 1,334 days remaining. Okay, that's going to take a while still. That's going to take a while still. So once again, we'll just leave it be, and oh gosh, this is going to take forever. I know I keep on saying that, but it is genuinely going to take forever. Once again, we seem to have a load of wars and battles and such going on in the early part of the stream, and then towards the end it's just started to really just get bogged down by everything. Oh yeah, you're one of the caravaneers, aren't you? And we do have a few, okay, pirates around here. Then we've got, yeah, pirates and more pirates. Okay, so we've got these systems that need to be taken. I'm gonna say, am I going to regret clicking on this? The answer is quite probably, because I don't think my I don't think this has really been. I mean, like the 600 fleet power around here. Where did it say that that wormhole went to? Okay, so we do actually have a pretty decent inn here. I think. Where are all my fleets? They are down here. Let's get them all selected, send them up here. Okay, apparently doing a jump from here to up here and then coming all the way down is quicker than going this way round. But this is part of the reason why I wanted to get gateways in, so we wouldn't necessarily have these issues. Just increase that a bit more, probably decrease this a bit. How much is the food and
Tracking spaceborne life form.
stuff going for? Not that much. Oh, okay, rare crystals prices really bottomed out there. Dark matter is fine. That and that are pretty much standard. Probably what I want to do is, yeah, just cancel that, because that's obviously taking up the majority of it, but we're still making 455 on our own, and hopefully when these start being built up, because obviously this gives one artisan and one metallurgist job each, so that will get us a tiny bit more on those, and then just naturally, generally, we'll have all the options. And of course these are getting upgrades. We've got a battleship going to be built soon for that one, and then obviously battleship Titan, frigate, cruiser, corvette, all of those lovely ones. And we do have a fair amount more fleet capacity, so 30, 24, and then it's halved from each of them. So then 12 of these, 6 of these. And we can't get any more Titans because we can't actually afford them. This does take us a little bit over our fleet capacity, so I will reduce all of that down. There we go, exactly 364 there. So we are still going to need like 10 times the amount of alloys that we do currently have. So honestly, actually, do I go back? I know I keep on changing my mind. I know I keep on changing my mind. If I do that, and I do that, and I do that, then we might be able to get... Oh, that's interesting if it wasn't if it wasn't something that we were already looking at. But yeah, the Holy Zukan. I was going to say, does that mean you're no longer in the war? No, you are still in the war. Slightly annoyingly. And I'll just add a few more onto these. Just so that we are a peace offer. Which doesn't really impact us. And yeah, pretty much I'm going to be tweaking this just so we get about 500 alloys a month. So that 46 or however much it was. Okay, so we need to travel across here because we now obviously have a route. So obviously that's still a pirate fleet, and we want to okay, I suppose that's a different way. I suppose that's a different way if you think that's going to be quicker. I'm probably not going to complain. Or are these gateways just honestly bugged for me? Because this one... like, that one is just coming back down to our system again. Are they just bugged for me? Okay, Deneb. We now have that one ready to go. So obviously create that one. Tell you to go back to the nearest star base, which is just in your system. Come on, I don't need you to be my rivals. I need you to be my friends. Ugh. Aye. This is going to take a while. This is indeed going to take a while. But yeah, I'm starting to think, honestly, that those gateways are just bugged because they are sending me, no matter which ones I click, they're just all sending me to my system, which is obviously not what they're actually connected up to, so... Hey, who knows? Who knows? But Ublia is almost done as well. And then we'll have 4 different gateways. There we go. Scattered around our empire, making things, or making traversal at least, hopefully a little bit easier. There we go. So obviously we do have the sensory array. We have the star base, not the star base, the shipyard, and the research station we could potentially do. So if I go in here, so science nexus, lacking stuff, yep. So habitat or orbital ring, we've got one around every planet, I believe, or every habited planet. And of course we can build more habitats, basically one over every single planet in this system if we wanted to. But otherwise, obviously hyper relay, we've got one for absolutely everywhere. Mega shipyard, doesn't seem like we can only have one. Century array site, science nexus site. I think I'm just going to save up for the science nexus site. because I think we're going to need that. We are getting 1,000 a month, but I feel like we could do better. I do feel like we could do better. So, rivalry. Yep, you are still got us as your rival, but thankfully, we are slowly still increasing that. Oh, I think they've actually stopped harming relations with us now. Oh, great. Now, who was the other one in the Federation that was rivaling us? I'm gonna say, not you. There we are. Dothon. There. Yep. Decreasing opinion of us, but everyone else is okay. If I only have to balance 2 empires, that's probably not going to be that bad. I say it's probably not going to be that bad. Okay, it is almost, no, it is actually 9 o'clock, so I'm going to go and get myself a quick drink and, you know, maybe get my cat his dinner. I'm going to go get my cat his dinner and I'm going to grab myself a drink. So I'm just going to be back in a couple of minutes. I'm not going to bother running any adverts because we've only just had some anyway. So just enjoy looking at this lovely sticker on my face and I'll be back in a moment. One moment, let me just get this sticker off my head. And yeah, Mercury, I do tend to stream for a decent amount of time. One moment, just opening a can. Sorry, the fizz came through a bit on that one. But yeah, I do tend to stream for at least a decent chunk of time, because I have found at the very least that streams kind of under 2.5 hours don't really seem to be enough to really get involved in things. But I am probably going to be wrapping up in the next 20 minutes, perhaps, unless something major happens in Stellaris, and then we'll go and raid someone and say hello to them, and then I'll get ready for bed and head off. So it's gonna be... Okay, where's that fleet? Aha, you have already moved over there. Good, 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 good. Yeah, we are taking the war finally back to the Zukakan Confederacy, though I think... I think these might be a little bit glitched, which is obviously why it's been taking everyone such a long time to get the war exhaustion up. But I'm hoping if we're able to knock through these systems, that one's obviously just a pirate fleet. And then Misharan, so you don't have to worry about them. That's, yep, another pirate fleet. I'm not sure if the game is glitching or if it's just having to spend so much time processing things that it just doesn't quite know what to do. But these 3 systems, it just does not want to attack, even though it's like 650 military power on each of those. Okay, trade deals have expired, which does mean we'll be getting some more rare materials back. I'm just thankful that most everyone seems to have hyper relays now, because it does make things a whole lot quicker. Which is always going to be a good thing. I'll just keep an eye on this area and just make sure that nothing comes through and surprises us. Hey, this is going to be a pain trying to get into that federation, isn't it? I could just tell it's going to be a pain to get into that federation because everyone just keeps on rivaling us now. Oh boy, well, just ahead of time I'm just gonna load up Twitch on my end and just see who is online, and the answer is quite a few people today. So we're gonna have a fair few people to go and say hello to. So I'm gonna have a look at a couple of people just ahead of time, because I know some of these do stream a lot later compared to me. So, okay, I think I know who we're going to go and raid, presuming that they're still online when I get there. But otherwise there are a fair few other people that I can go and say hello to, so it doesn't matter too much. Got plenty of people online, plenty of friends to go and say hello to, and we will definitely be continuing on with the raiding for that one. Okay, yep, still stuck at 82%. I still think something is not quite right with this. hopefully we should be able to get it sorted out soon. I'm just basically on the lookout for oh, okay, so we found a Leviathan. So fiends to test our faith, or no, I'm going to say proof of the divine. That's probably this one right here, automated dreadnought. I'm going to say anything because those are just spaceborne amoebas. And yeah, Tiankees and space amoeba. And okay, I don't think I really saw any other, like, yeah, pirate fleets. So it's like a bunch of things down here. Let me just have a look, because it seems like these are, yeah, just minor systems again. So if we, yeah, I think this is probably what's been snagging us, because we can then potentially come all the way down here. That is just the Caravaneers and more pirates. So hopefully we'll be able to catch a ride on someone's gateway system. And I've just realised, oh my goodness, how many gateways the Sathirelian Bliss have. It's almost like they've got a gateway on every single system. Guys, I don't think you need that many. Jeez, I don't think you need that many. Wow. And unfortunately I can't really make the game go any faster, so we are just going to have to oh, you're moving again. Maybe I've kicked you into action by actually coming over here. Or maybe we're just going to have a bunch of glitch systems. Which honestly wouldn't surprise me, because for some reason we've got this system here that has no connections to anywhere else. We've got a wormhole, but we've no idea. It's like the only thing I can think of is that these two link to each other, but they were connected when I started the stream. Okay, someone's done a science nexus. That's good, but it doesn't really impact us in any way. It's not like Civilization where building a wonder locks you out, or someone else building a wonder locks you out from being able to do so yourself. A fleet is borrowed, will return in 0 days. That is definitely glitching, and my game is definitely not liking this huge swarm of fleets. Yeah, I think they're probably just parking here, which is slightly annoying. Ah, there we go. Okay, that's finally tripped over to ownership. It's finally tripped over to being owned. Still only 82% again. Okay, I'm gonna stop noting on that because I've been saying it so much and it's probably just annoying a bunch of other people. So I'm gonna just stop mentioning that and just go through on the war and just work my way through. Okay, so there is a natural wormhole here, which is saying it links up to... okay, so that's R1. Right, what I was hoping for was some kind of wormhole system that would be able to let us get through down to here quickly. Because we've got some systems here and we've got some systems up here, which we'd need to deal with. Okay, we are managing to grab that one and move you down here. and just make sure everyone is able to align. Just make sure everyone's being sent to the same section. They are. And then we'll need to find a way to come back down south and wipe out those last little areas, because I think that is honestly just being, or just what's been holding us up, is these few systems. Okay, so another one has gone cyborg. I think we may be one of the few psionic empires, which does actually remind me we could breach the shroud. It is obviously going to impact our society research, but seeing as society has been kind of focused on war and battle efforts, and we're, I would say, doing decently okay on that end, I think we can afford to lose a few years to probing the shroud and seeing what that gets us. Okay, right, those gateways are saying that they're connecting back to our home station, which is not entirely true. Okay, that one's done, and I'll just wait for all of the ships and whatnot to join up to that one, and we'll go and work on that one in a bit. Main thing being, what's the route that they're going to be taking if I send them down there? Because if it's going to take a while, it's going to be annoying. If it's going to take a while, then unfortunately it's just going to be what it is. Okay, just waiting for the last few little stragglers, and then we'll be able to go. But yeah, that is the Dark Abyss and a few reinforcement fleets for the coast. And of course, one benefit from just having to wait for all of this is that our alloy count is starting to actually creep up. And speaking of, I'm just going to go around and fiddle with the market and how much we're selling on that, because I think we can afford to actually be a little bit more positive with that. If we do the same for minerals, price is 32. Okay, price for alloys, I think we'll just remove that and just rebalance things. Every one of our systems and habitats looks fine. That looks like it's all working as expected. 55 days into the system, got 240 days left on this voting one. The organic slave trade is not going to be banned, despite someone really wanting it to be. Okay. Right. We've essentially got almost all of you. So what route, if I send you here, are you going to be taking? Aha, okay, so you are going to be jumping to this system. So you are having to head back to this one. Okay, so that is going to take a while. And I think, I think this is probably going to be where I leave it for today. Because it's another slow start, but hopefully, I said this last stream, but hopefully we'll be able to get in and actually complete this war next time. So if I just go exit to the menu and wait for that to calculate, there we go. And then, so I am going to go and raid a fellow VTuber by the name of Abyssal Diver from Germany, playing some Deep Rock Galactic with Snaku, I believe is their name. So let me just get the transitionary thing up. So once, as usual, thank you very much everyone who stopped by. Obviously we had a nice raid from Nobu earlier, which was very, very much appreciated, and a few new followers. Thank you all. Thank you to everyone who's been spending time here, chatting, watching, lurking, all of that good stuff. Very, very much appreciated. We do have a raid message if you want to copy it across. And I will set up the raid for Abyssal Diver. There we go. That should be all set. Okay, intended for mature audiences. But I will get that going. I will myself rest and have a bit of a relaxation. I may be streaming a lot more across the next week to 10 days because I do have some time off. So please keep an eye on Discord, Twitter and Twitch. If you need any of those, there are my socials right there. Feel free to hang about. Discord as the same as my Twitch channel. Feel free to join in and just lurk around. There is no need to interact. I do have a tag for stream notifications if you join and want to have that accessed. It is only used to notify for when I go live on streams, nothing else. But for now, I will snooze that advert because we don't need it. And I will finish up saying thank you very, very much for watching. I hope you have a good rest of the day, and bye-bye for now.